Kitchenroom production.
Who else we got in the place, man?
Oh, man, we got 9 in the place. Y'all
clap it up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What up, Flip the Script Radio?
So what's good, 9, man?
Yo, everything's everything, man. I can't complain.
Man.
Health is wealth.
Yo, man, it's good meeting you, brother, man.
Thank
I'm
you,
honored,
man.
man.
Appreciate that. I appreciate it, man.
Listening to your music since I was like 3 years old.
Oh, damn.
Yo, I had to play that Red Rum joint because I remember when it came out and I bought the single. That opening line must be the Chronic, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
That was like so.
It was necessary.
It was necessary, and it was like a lot of people were playing because it's Flip the Script Radio, man. We keep it real on the show.
Right,
we
right.
don't, you know what I'm saying. We give our true opinions. A lot of people were just like for some reason, like, there was a lot of politics involved with people speaking against that and what was going on at the time. What brought that on, man?
Well, to me, it was just they were talking crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And it wasn't in their music because I love Snoop Dogg and
Right.
Dre and all that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But to me, it was just like you talking crazy about the architects. I'm not having it. Like,
Yeah, that's
I'm
ridiculous.
gonna say something immediately, and I didn't try to sugarcoat it. I didn't want people. I wanted you to know. I was saying must
Right.
be that got these,
Right,
because to me we gave the world a hustle,
Of course.
and we taught you. We gave y'all rap. We gave y'all hip hop music. East Coast. We gave it to you.
Yeah.
And you ran with it. You got rich with it.
Clap for that.
Just show a little respect.
That needs applause, man.
Definitely.
You gotta show respect to
course.
the people who put this in your lap, and
course.
it was intentionally made for everybody to enjoy. You know what I mean? But this culture was made by blacks and Hispanics in the South Bronx.
On the East
And we
Coast.
could talk about that
Yes.
too, because a lot of dudes. I'm not just saying that because Hispanic brothers is in the house. I was there.
Yeah.
I grew up in Webster Park.
Oh, it's a fact. It's a
I
fact.
was there. I watched everything that happened.
Yeah.
I saw who was involved and who,
Yeah.
who bought this thing from spinning on boxes on their back to where it is, where people are getting rich, and it's a blessing. But
So-
just respect the architects. You got to.
And the most amazing thing about it was
The
that
foundation.
there was no model. It wasn't like
Right, it just happened generically. I
It
just
was-
watched it.
right.
Every day something else changed. Because when I first discovered hip hop, I was 11 years old. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And we didn't even call them rappers. They were MCs.
right. Where you from originally?
I'm from the South Bronx.
South
man.
Bronx, okay.
1350 Webster Avenue. Stand up.
Word up.
Claremont Village, Bronx, South Bronx.
We got Bronx in the house, yes.
Yeah.
Dave.
Okay.
So I was able to see this thing from a very, very early place.
Park
You know what I mean?
jams,
From
all
the
that
beginning.
stuff.
Park jams.
So
man.
after that joint, how was your reception on the West Coast?
Oh no, it was all love. When I did finally meet Snoop, he laughed.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yo, man, you fought back. You said something." You
Okay.
know? But he said, we coming for hours. And I'm like, "Yeah, we gonna
Well, we gave it to you.
respond."
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? And that's what hip hop is. It's
Yeah.
always been battle.
But he seems like one of the cats because I have family on the West Coast. I spend a lot of time out there. There's people who are totally like thankful and acknowledge and then, like he did the Lottie Dottie shit.
I love Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, but then you
kidding
got-
me?
there
And
are-
I loved him even when he was making crazy statements.
But there are some people out there that just act like they invented the wheel with this shit.
Well, you got to.
And that's who you were talking to, I think. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, I was talking to them.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
They were giving interviews and they were talking crazy.
Yeah.
I heard some things. I can't even remember exactly what him and Dre was saying at the time, but they was coming for what they.
So
wanted.
it was directed toward them specifically.
Yeah, that must be the Chronic.
Right. I got it. Talk about that history though with Flex and you had your other partner. What was the original name?
Well, my name was Ricochet.
Ricochet. Right.
Yeah, in the '80s when I was a kid.
I don't think people are aware of that history though. I
Deuce
think,
is Wild.
of
was
course,
Funk
man.
Master Flex.
5 times a rhymer.
5 times.
Uh,
And that was produced by Mark the 45 King.
Not Chuck Chill Out,
No, it was produced by 45 King.
because that was always like the
Chuck Chill Out was our manager. He lived next door to the other member of my group.
Yeah.
So when we met Chuck, I knew Chuck when I was a little kid. His name was DJ Steele.
Right.
He used to DJ in the parks and stuff, and then he stopped.
He used to spend a lot of time in Jersey back in the day. We used to see him around
but
a lot.
he wasn't trying to be a DJ on the radio or none of that. It just all came to him. You know what I mean? I remember the day he made that song 3-2 Break.
Of course, yeah.
Vincent from Vintertainment Records lived down the block next door to Pumpkin, King of the Beat.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So the whole
That's some
little
history.
North Bronx area, when I moved from
Bananas.
Webster Projects, I lived in the North Bronx, way up, close to Mount Vernon and all
Right.
that stuff. So when I was there, I was a little kid. All these talented dudes was on one block. You had to know somebody though back then.
Yeah.
You could be the dopest dude. I so many talented dudes I know that never made it. never got a shot because they just didn't know.
Tons of them.
They're still coming through every week, man.
Right, they just didn't know. Well, it's a little different now, but back then you had to really know somebody to put you in pocket and put you on.
And I think we were spoiled back then because all the music was so good. There was a lot of good music.
Competition was for
everybody
real.
was different.
Right.
You had to be.
You had to be.
If
Now
you
it's-
sounded like somebody, they boo you out the joint.
Now you gotta sound like
gotta
everybody.
sound
Especially-
like
gotta
everybody.
sound like
Shit's
somebody,
crazy.
Especially in New York.
I
New
don't-
York is a tough crowd.
But back to the New York thing and you know it being a birthplace and all that. I don't think what a lot of people don't understand is that the climate and the surroundings and the state of New York City at the time, especially the Bronx, being bankrupt and that setting is what gave birth to this shit. Like
It was
a lot
abandoned buildings everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it was crazy.
Fort Apache, the Bronx.
You know what I mean? When I grew up, like it was just graffiti everywhere, and I used to hate graffiti because of that. Because it was all in my hallways, and it wasn't the artistic.
Yeah, it was
graffiti.
bad graffiti.
It was just terrible.
Tags.
People
Tags
writing
everywhere.
on
It was
the
bad
elevator.
feedy.
And to me, you know, I used to watch movies or television shows, and they ain't have none of that. So to me, the graffiti just reminded me that I was poor.
right.
Yeah.
And it used to do something to my psyche
Makes
when
you
I
feel
was
like-
6, 7, 8, 9 growing up. It was like, I'm really poor, man.
So
Like,
you never got into tagging?
Nah.
Nah.
My mom, well, first of all, my grandmother would have killed me.
Right.
She'd have caught me writing or something.
Right.
So
But
I wasn't into that.
You saw it at the birth. Like when I came into
Right.
it, it was kind of like the dope shit, like with your backdrop right there.
Check it out.
Like
Shop
Don't get me
6-1.
wrong. Once Fab Five Freddy and they started introducing it as art and putting it, and then some of the trains were beautiful.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You know, but then you have the knuckleheads that were coming right over
Yeah,
the
the
dudes
spits,
who
the
did all
spits.
this. Yeah, the spits.
But the
you know,
the trains needed that beautification.
Yeah, it was
though, you know what I'm
beautiful,
saying?
but it just wasn't beautiful opening up your front door and it's
Yeah.
everywhere down, Oh man. Grandmaster Kaz.
Wow.
Definitely.
I-
Clap it up for Kaz. We don't get mentioned
up?
enough, man.
He
Come on.
knows this. We good friends now. He like my big brother, but I tell him all the time when I saw him, I was like 14 and somebody I knew was older and they got me into this spot called the T Connection. You
Oh, of
familiar with
course,
the T
of course.
I've heard of it. Too young to go, of course.
Right. Cold Crush 4 was on stage and I was standing there like they were the Temptations, Earth, Wind, and like
They were.
My
That, you know.
parents had, my mom, she had her groups that she listened to,
Yeah.
and I used to listen to that too. But to me, these guys was me.
Yeah.
They dressed like us, they looked like us. See,
Right.
Melly Mel and them, I dug them too. I liked them.
But they were a little outlandish.
But they wore the different, all
feathers.
the outfits and stuff, so they looked just like the groups on TV.
Funkadelic,
Cold
Parlor.
Crush 4 had on sweatshirts, sweaters, mock necks. It was just, they looked just like us. You know what I mean? And when I saw him and I saw what they was doing, I was like, I want to do that.
And he'll still battle somebody today.
Oh, today.
He still ain't having it.
Yeah, I hung out with him. We did a play together in 1999 called Echo Park at the Apollo. We only ran for a week, but I played DJ Hollywood in it.
Oh, shit.
And Grandmaster Kaz was the narrator, and I got to pick him up every morning to take him to rehearsal. So I got to hang out with him for like 3-4 weeks straight.
Oh,
You know
that's
what I mean?
dope,
So
that's dope.
it was amazing to me because I'm like, I got Kaz in my car.
Right,
You
right.
know what I mean? So, and I was telling him all this stuff all the time. And I know he hears it all the time.
Yeah.
Because he's like the blueprint for what it was to be dope MC.
Yeah.
If anybody's owed a check in this shit, is Kaz.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
rapper
yeah.
that ever went on to do anything should be cutting
And
this guy
then
checks.
the second dude was Rakim.
Okay.
I was trying to write rhymes when I was young, and when I heard Rakim, I threw every single rhyme I ever wrote in the garbage.
Because it was like more party oriented, like you wanted to get into the content.
Nah, I was not good. I thought I was good.
It was just straight up, I can't be that guy.
Until I heard I came indoors, said it before. I was like, yo, you are not ready. You know what I mean? I'm young, but
Right.
now that takes a lot to recognize. All right, my body of work isn't satisfactory to me.
I've been in rooms with some of the greatest dudes ever because of running around with Chuck Chillout. Once Chuck Chillout got on, me and Flex was like his record boys. We used to carry Flex. We would do anything to be
Right.
around hip hop. So Flex used to pick Chuck up, drive him to the station. We got to hang out. We got to meet public. Matter of fact, Chuck D gave me the NWA cassette like a week before it came out.
Chuck D gave you an NWA cassette.
A week before it came out, I had the Straight Outta Compton album.
There's some
on
irony
cassette.
in that whole
And that was Chuck
situation.
D.
Chuck D from Public Enemy.
Pretty ironic.
You know what I mean? Because I used to be around Chuck Chillout so much.
That's dope. That's a dope.
I would
little-
be in Chuck's ear like, yo, play this record, play this
Well,
record.
it's bugged out because then the Bomb Squad wind up doing Ice Cube's album.
Yeah, Ice Cube's joint.
So it was
Yeah.
all, yeah.
But they was on cue to that. So Chuck D knew how close I was with Chuck Chillout because I used to beat Chuck in the head to play Time Bomb,
Right.
play PE records. He won't admit it to you, but I'm responsible for a lot of for PE joints. To
Give
hit.
nine his
Give
credit,
me some
Chuck.
credit, Chuck.
Come on, man. Clap
I
it
used,
up.
to, I used to be a pest. Like, yo, man, you gotta play this. When I did the album I just did with Snow Goons, when they came up here to record with me, we did like 11 records. What we do? Send like 11 records in like 8 hours. They was looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like, yo, I live by the 5 P's always. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
God, I
And
love
that's
that
just
right
how
there.
I always been. I don't go in, I don't freestyle.
Yeah.
I write it, I take my time, I make sure I got it down, I go in the booth. If I gotta do 2 takes, I'm mad at myself.
So you had them joints in the chamber, or did you write to the?
Oh no, I
to
wrote.
the-
I gotta write to the beat. I never
Right.
been a dude that could like. Oh, I got a rhyme for that.
Yeah.
Like,
You could
that's
tell. You could
not-
tell when you listened to the album that it
I
wasn't
write
some
to
generic
the
shit.
songs. I have to. I always been that way,
Right,
which is
right.
why I don't have a great body of material out there. Like
Right.
dudes make a million different records. Every record they make has the same content.
Right.
If I could talk about the same thing on every record and you won't get mad at me, I could do that shit too.
So through your affiliation with Chuck and Flex, did you create a joint, a demo, and did it like go straight to radio, or did you skip that little process that others had?
No. And actually, what happened was like Chuck. Like I said, I knew Chuck. I met Flex. I found Flex DJ
Right.
one day. I knew him through somebody else, through DJ Galaxy, who was Jekyll and Hyde's DJ,
Yeah.
who used to be with me when I was a kid. So it all was full circle.
Wow.
So when Flex started running around, we was both running around with Chuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when that time came where Flex had his own opportunity, and he moved on, and the last thing we did together was 6 Million Ways to Die.
Mm-hmm.
That record made a lot of noise.
And that was
though.
actually Flex's record, and he
Yeah.
called me in there and said, "Yo, you want to spit a verse on this?" Because he knew what I was, I was.
That
doing
did
my
make a
thing.
lot of noise at the time.
It did.
And
I still remember the video.
The original version has Tragedy, Intelligent Hoodlum. What up, Tragedy
Word.
Gaddafi?
Shout out to
Trash.
Trash.
He was on the original, but for some reason his label ain't let him go, so they called me back and said, "Yo, we want you to do the whole song." So I did the whole 6 Million Ways to Die record, and then, it was the first time I had developed.
Yeah.
My voice changed. I started, you know what I mean?
That was before the profile deal, though, right?
Yeah, that was before that. That
So
was-
video on Ralph McDaniel's
Yeah.
video music box.
yes.
Was that Nervous that put that out?
Nervous.
That
Yeah,
was.
Nervous,
Shout out to
right.
Nervous, man. Nervous got a lot of history, man. They gotta get
Yeah,
overlooked.
no, they
Yeah, I know. Nervous.
Mike Weiss can eat a dick though.
There you go. Clap it up for Mike Weiss eating dicks.
Eat a dick.
Don't hold back.
What about Stu Fine? Any experience with that cat? Wild Pitch? You never dealt with him?
Just when I used to do the Chuck Chill Out runs.
I heard some horror
I
stories.
used to do these Chuck Chill Out runs.
Let's
and
not even mention their names.
I would go to these labels and
Yeah.
they had to handle their business. Back then things was different. It ain't no secret now. Don't get mad, Chuck.
So,
You had to go back there and sometimes they had to touch you up a little, get that record played.
what album, in your opinion, is the dopest? Like that inspired you?
Epitomizes it for you.
The
Any in particular?
blueprint for the dopest album or how to make an album is Run DMC Raising Hell.
Okay.
Clap it up, man.
Period.
I wasn't expecting that.
It's the
I wasn't
first.
expecting that either.
But it's the first.
It is.
It's the first time somebody showed you how to put 11, 12 records together.
True.
Where all the records was dope.
Right.
And they all had a purpose and they all had a demographic.
And they were
like
sequenced the right
They
way.
were put in the right
Yeah.
order.
Yeah.
It was just perfect. Run DMC, Raising Hell, definitely. Every other album that came out after that is a version of Raising Hell by whoever is doing the album.
That's the foundation
see
for
that.
all of them.
Yeah, that's it.
So did things kind of speed up for you after the Flex joint?
Yeah, I mean, after 6 Million Ways to Die, I started getting offers, and me and him still tried to stay a unit.
Yeah.
But creative differences, things. He just changed. I changed. We wasn't getting along like that, so I just moved on.
Right.
And I actually had to deal with Profile before I had What You Want. So What You Want is what speeded it up because I went down there with a demo, and they signed me. They was with it. They liked what they heard, but I didn't use none of those records. All
Right.
those records were at the beginning of Nine Lives. When you hear the death of a demo,
Right.
Yeah.
those were the songs I used to get the deal. And then they made me wait for like 4 months, and I don't sit, so I was like, yo, it ain't over. Let's go back to work. So me and my producer, Rob Lewis at the time, he pulled out the What You Want beat, and we knew we had one. Like, when I heard that.
That was an anthem that summer, man.
I knew we had one, so we took that record to them. It was like, yo, y'all gonna do this deal or what? What you doing? So they was like, oh, when they heard it, they was like, let's go.
Yo, that track,
Shout out
everything
to
about
Special
it,
Ed,
man.
because Special Ed was in the office when it happened, and he was telling me, yo, y'all better do this. This shit's hard. Like, good looking Ed. He made the process speed up.
Shout out to Special Ed.
Like a week later, I was signed. I had my check. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Was that your Jeep in the video?
No.
Was that the first purchase?
Nah. That was I forgot whose Jeep that was.
That was a big joint that summer.
It was.
That was
yeah.
crazy.
Imagine if I would have took my time though and got a real record deal. His profile was horrible.
Right.
They didn't promote that album, that video, that song. That video cost $15,000 to make, and at that time, videos was $80,000.
Yeah, there was no budget behind.
We
that.
got some dude with a camera to follow a Jeep. Where I was like, I came up with the whole concept of what I wanted to do because I knew we couldn't afford nothing else.
They was charging so much back then.
Yeah, so this
That's
label,
crazy.
they was never behind me. They was never, Steve Plotnicki eat a dick. You could give him.
There you
one,
go.
too.
Yeah, give him a round
I
of
like
applause.
this. I like this. There's no punch. I like this.
Steve Plotnicki, former owner of Profile, eat a dick.
Listen, anybody that you want to eat a dick, please say their name.
And if I see him, I'm going to knock him right out of his wheelchair.
that's what we're talking about.
Now we're talking. That needs to happen more often. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not playing.
We
These
get some
dudes
fair
are
deals for what I'm saying. So
Yeah, Steve eat a dick. Anyway, if I was on a real label, you know what I'm saying?
He said, no.
So one of the things that really stands out is the raspy voice. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I was big on that whole rough style back then, so it automatically caught me. Did it catch the record labels the same way? Like this guy got a really
definitely,
big voice.
because I was different. It was,
Yeah.
and what it was is like I could go either octave.
Yeah.
When I talk, but I locked up for a little hot second, and I used to sing the Jamaican records. I used to sing Operation Radication, them have to run, them have to run when Radication come. And this dude said, how come you not use that when you rap in your Yankee voice? So what are you talking about? He said, when you do the Jamaican thing, you bring out all your energy. Why you not do that? I never saw this nigga again. I went home, I got out, I went home, and I wrote this song called Real Street Nigga, straight from the Bronx. And I played it for Flex, and he was like, yo, that's it, my nigga, let's go.
It's good you haven't seen him. He might want to check.
Right.
He
He
might
won't
own
even
some.
remember me. He just looked at me because he saw me little battle rapping, but then he
Right.
saw me singing that shit, and we on the, we in jail.
that sounded too authentic, though. Is that your background? You Jamaican or
No.
Okay, you just-
I grew up in the.
Everybody
once
in
I
New York
left-
could do that.
Bro, once I left the South Bronx, I lived
well,
in the
Flex
Northeast Bronx.
is Jamaican, right?
Flex is Jamaican.
All right, so I thought
clearly
maybe
Dominican.
Nah. But I grew up.
What
with
was that,
Jamaican.
Matt?
I said he's
You know
clearly
what I mean?
Dominican.
Yeah,
He's
he's
from the
clearly
Bronx.
Dominican.
Yeah, I'm from the
You know what I'm
Bronx. I'm Dominican,
I got a
Jamaican, I'm
Jama-
Puerto Rican. I'm all of that shit.
I got a
you know?
Jamaican wife. I'm ready to kill her.
Chill. Nah. They kill you back.
That's what. Yeah, let's not talk about that. We went through a lot of history, man. I don't think, like I said, the chat room was talking about it. They didn't realize you had that kind of history.
Oh no! When my book comes out, they
Oh, you
gonna
working
see
on that?
some
Oh, we got a
things.
book.
Yeah, we got a
okay.
book. We got a book. I have to have a book. You know what I mean? I came up with Pumpkin, Errol Bedford, rest in peace, King of the Beat. He did real heartbeat. He played these beats, love rap. Like, you know what I mean? He did the original music for this, and I got to watch that shit. DLB from Fearless 4 taught me how to count bars when I was 15, because he took me to DLB house and said, this kid can rap, but he don't know what he's doing.
Right.
So you're writing this book, or you?
Well, I got someone helping, but
Right.
I mean, I'm writing
The
book.
content.
you're
Yeah.
narrating and
No,
you
I mean, I'm doing most of the writing. I'm gonna just
Okay.
have somebody else come sit down and
It's
you know,
content.
That's
put
what's
it
up.
into that perspective that sometimes has to be more visual. Because one thing I am is a writer. I've always been a writer, so I don't need anybody to write for me. Like that's the biggest part of what I do is writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I got a lot of stories, man. I was managed by Jekyll and Dr. Jekyll when he first started. You know what
They
I
don't
mean?
get mentioned enough either.
They
man.
first
Jekyll and Hyde.
album, I sat there with them when I was a little kid. My stories are crazy. We're gonna keep promoting
Yeah,
this album.
keep the momentum
pushing it
going,
because
man.
sometimes people abandon their projects too early, is what I see, and then they jump to another album that sounds just like the one that didn't get played before. So why don't you should just keep working the one you got. I ain't doing nothing
There's a lot
else
of
till
that.
y'all give me my money for this one.
Yo, for the people that don't know, man, that's the kind of music that exists that people are putting out. That
Right, you gotta look for it though.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
like it's not in your face, but you gotta want it. You know what I mean? If that's not what you into, then I understand.
You
'Cause
still
when-
got to dig, man.
But when I
Digging
was,
doesn't stop.
my thing is like with the youth and stuff. Like when I was a kid, like I didn't care what 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds was doing. I don't hear that shit. I'm into my own thing, so I'm not mad or about them being in their own thing. But because this is the first time that a grandfather and a grandson shares the same quote unquote genre of
Who
music.
said that?
You know what I mean? When I was a kid, the shit my uncles and them was listening to, I wasn't fucking with it at all. Not even a little bit.
It was good though.
You know, it was good music, but it
good.
wasn't, you know, we was coming into our own. So I understand what they're doing, but they're being socially engineered to do this
Well,
fuck
that's
shit.
what I was going to say, man. And that's the
They're
part that
being
people don't
driven
realize.
to be human commercials. You know, you take a company like Gucci or some shit, right? And you are selling their product for them and they're giving you nothing.
Right.
Zero. Louis, all this other shit y'all talking about in these records, these niggas is not paying y'all.
And they probably rather not have nothing to do with you. They
And
take your money.
And hold up, but we tried to show y'all that though. It's not like we didn't break away from that type of stuff. Dudes started putting out clothing lines. We tried to show, and then the powers that be came in and stomped that shit the fuck out and put you back in the field. Back picking cotton again, you know what I mean? And that's the thing that breaks my heart when I look at the youth or the culture that exists in music, in hip hop, quote unquote hip hop today. I think what happened was, you know, New York was so standoffish. It's kind of our fault too that other cities wanted to show us that they could fuck with us, and they wanted to talk shit to us and kick our ass because we didn't embrace them properly. We didn't say, hey, yo, y'all doing your thing down there? Come on up here and we work. You know, I know some South dudes and even West Coast dudes that we didn't embrace them, so they wanted to kill you instead of being part of, you know, it's real talk. New York is very standoffish. We didn't work together. Like,
But we also
worked
had,
together everywhere.
we had a standard, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, in there, not to say that this shit wasn't up to
Right,
par.
but we thought our shit didn't stink.
No, definitely.
I'm gonna be
definitely.
real.
It's still like that.
I had a couple, but now, no, because
No,
now it's
not
like,
really.
it could be, Atlanta radio, it could be New York radio.
I'm just
It's the
talking about
same
New
shit.
York cats in general.
Oh,
No,
man.
but I mean as far as in the industry
Right.
and embracing other people. Like, I knew a couple dudes from the South that was dope. I had actually brought one up here, right? He was up in my house chilling. I took him around to a few labels because I thought he was really talented, and they laughed at him. You know what I mean? They wouldn't fuck with him just because he was from,
Right.
you know what I mean? So he went home with that taste in his mouth, and I know when he got back home, he was like, yo, fuck New York. Fuck them New York niggas.
well-
We gonna do our own music. We gonna take over, so they don't have no real love because we didn't show no real love. So I think that's where we lost, not control of it, but at least that guiding light that we should have had. We should have been able to.
That was part of the problem.
But even some of the cats in New York, like radio cats with a lot of history that came from that era and all that stuff that you were talking about, and even like a lot of the artists, like, I mean, I hate to use the bad boy cliche, but all that, like, that super formulaic approach, everything that hip hop wasn't kind of prior to that, they kind of just, I don't know, it just seemed like they just forgot about everything. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, that's where people really get it confused too. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I'm a little older than you, so I'm gonna tell you, when hip hop first hit the radio and got on the radio, it was exactly what Diddy did.
Yeah, it was.
Whatever
definitely.
the most popular R&B record was at the time,
That's what they used.
pumpkin, they would flip the beat, they'd play it over, and then
times.
you'd have dudes rapping over it. Like, that was a sure shot hit. That's the only risk that the label would take. This record's already a proven hit. You guys rap over singing records, so let's take that record, redo it, and make it a hit. It's kind of like with reggae. What you mean?
Yeah.
They do the cover
They
record.
sing every- yeah, that's all they
right,
do.
So
So you're basically taking
Not
a
all,
song,
but they do
taking
that
a
a lot.
song. They took something that proved itself already as a
right,
hit,
so
and resold it
flipped
to a new
so,
generation.
But that was
Right.
embedded in hip hop. That's what
Right.
we used to do in the parks.
Right.
Find beats or the record and
Yeah.
play. So when Diddy did records like Inside Out, You Turning Me, he was just being smart. Like, I don't think he did any damage. Like,
just
people
the-
used to
the con-
blame. It wasn't hardcore.
Right,
but
it was
it's
the
still-
content.
He wasn't taken away from it because what he did was put some of the best lyricists on top of that.
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls, Jada Kidd. I mean, we can't lie about his ear. Black
right,
Rob. Did he put some dudes out there?
did.
Because they was all nice.
But-
our generation is what I'm talking to. Y'all don't go support. Y'all don't look for like the artists. You say whoever was your favorite MC, right? You say AZ was my favorite. Let's say, I'm just pulling the name out the air. He's put out new projects and people don't go support it. Cool G Rap's last album was dope.
It's funny.
So many people talk about how much they love G Rap, but the album didn't do anything because you didn't go out there and support it.
It's
Just
funny
because
you
you like
mention
his
that.
old record, try his new record. See what he's on now. He's probably talking to you more than he was then because now he's growing with you.
Life experience.
You know,
yeah.
I'm only talking to my next project is called The Growth. It's an EP. I'm only talking to people 45 and older, 40 and older. If you're not 40 and older, I don't even care.
Right.
I don't even
agree.
give a fuck what you niggas is doing. I don't care.
good
'cause
chance
I'm
you're not
part
gonna
of that
get it.
shit. I'm not part of that shit, so I shouldn't be talking to you. You shouldn't be listening to me. But there's enough of us to support that
Right.
genre where, and
You
we
know-
should have our own radio station and everything. The content of what I'm gonna be talking about. I'm gonna be
Right.
talking about niggas that get just laid on their mortgage I'm talking about niggas who trying to figure out a way to put them 3 kids
Listen,
through
the
college.
lights might go out right now. You don't even know.
The struggle raps is over. We grown men, so I ain't gonna make no record talking about I ain't got nothing that shit. You know what I mean? Or I'm on the corner still shooting at niggas or fucking selling drugs or something. If I'm still talking about that, then I'm a fucking failure. I'm a loser in life. That's some shit you do to get out of that. But once you get a certain age, if that shit didn't work, nigga,
it's not gonna work.
UPS is hiring.
Yo, that shit got such a big sound, like production-wise, man. You know what I'm saying?
If people really listen to both my albums, they were well produced and more big sound and
sonically.
Music. And I wasn't just rhyming on anything. It was a whole package that went together.
I'm looking at some of the stuff that people are talking about in the chat. Like there's a lot of discussion going on.
What's up? Let's go.
They're talking about a lot of the quote-unquote older cats that they want to support their music, but their production choices are not always up to par. So that's part of the reason why. You think there's something to that at all? Like cats not really being tuned into what's happening now?
Yeah, I think
I hear some of that.
Sonically, a lot of shit is just lazy.
Yeah,
like a lot of.
It's a good way to describe it.
Dudes, they just instead of trying to take the '90s sound forward, which is what I tried to do with King, and if you listen to it, you can tell that.
Definitely, yeah.
I broke the mold, the format. I didn't do hooks. I didn't do structure, because the only reason I did hooks on records that were repetitive was to get on the radio. That dream is over. Fuck the radio. I'm trying to make a piece of art, so I don't need a hook. If I want to rhyme for 96 bars,
clap it up, man, for that. Definitely.
Applause.
Catalog. If you got an ill catalog,
you can tour off that
you
forever.
can tour. You have no reason it's not easy to write.
But you're still passionate about the shit.
Because my catalog is not there. It's not that.
I'm saying
I'm gonna be 100 with you. I don't have the EPMD catalog.
Right.
I don't even have a Naughty by Nature catalog.
You can't do the oldies tour.
3-4 records that is when they come on, it's over. I got a fan base that dug what I did. I had a decent hit record in my life, but I never was one of those. I didn't have that, so it made me still hungry and still want to do.
But
this.
I'm saying,
if I had that, I probably wouldn't even write no more. But
really, that's what I was gonna ask you. Would you still be doing it if you had that?
Nah, but I knew that I wouldn't. I wanted to be better and better and better and better every time I did it. And now I know that all those dudes that I used to revere back then, they couldn't go in the booth with me. Like not now, not today. But today you die
because you're still doing it, and you're still gonna keep, and you're writing the book, and you probably still keep doing it.
But if I had a say you had Rakim's catalog, it's probably very hard for Rakim to go in the booth and say, yo, I'm gonna write me some rhymes today. I mean, that's some shit we did when we was kids. One of my main goals is to destroy ageism. It's ridiculous. I can still spit. I earned every one of these grades.
There's no reason.
I'm not dying them.
There's no reason you should have to. You should not. It's easier to do it now and put out production now than ever. Why should somebody that's a master at it stop?
When I go to a spot and I watch like a Jazzy Jeff spin, you could tell he still loves the craft.
Right. He's still better. He does something you didn't see last time.
He's still practicing. He's still like some guys are just too much living off legend. Right. You know what I'm saying? Cats getting booked because of names. But hey, man.
And sometimes you got to remember some people reach their ceiling.
That's true too.
Because if you go in the studio, the day I go in the studio and the new stuff is not even close to what the old stuff, then it's time to stop. When you don't care no more.
You think that happens as an artist? It happens.
I think
often?
some people just was as good as they could ever be at one time, and they can't elevate that style or that, especially if they've always been one dimensional. Like some dudes got one flow, and he flows like that on every record. And some of them it's a gift.
It's true.
It's a gift. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not everybody's blessed like Jadakiss or Nas. They just have a flow that everybody just loves. It fits everything.
Right.
But then there's a
universal flow.
Right, but then there's a flip side to that. Now that music is changing, your flow don't fit that music or the way things move. Now you finished. So everybody has a different reason. I just I call this king because I feel like that. I feel like when it comes to the bars at this point, for my generation and what I'm doing now, I'm a king. Like if it was all about hardcore hip hop, I would be the king. Yo, mama working hard, but we ain't got shit. It's like we eating soup with a chopstick. My daddy was a Baltimore dope fiend, and there I was, 16 with a smoke screen. He was my smoke screen for my inequities that had me picking up the pounds. Hercules, the uncertainties no longer worry me. If I tell them I'm the GOAT, they'll try and curry me. Let this get radio. We out of here. Peace.
If I tell them I'm a goat, they'll try to curry me.